Welcome to another teacher talk session tonight. And tonight we are having another educator from different part of the world. And tonight we are having an English teacher of gifted students and project coordinator, and Feride Acar from Türkiye. And when she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. I'm waiting for her to join the session. We are going to talk a lot of things tonight with her. I'm just waiting for her to join the session. Yes, Feride Hocam is here. Feride Hocam, you can send me a request to join. Yes. And I have seen it. But I can't open it. Why I cannot? Here, maybe. Yes. Yes, here you are.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Feride Hocam. It's
Hello,
great to see you.
good evening.
Good
Can
evening.
you hear me?
Yes, I
This is
can hear
clear.
you clearly. Yeah, it's
Good.
clear. It's clear, Feride Hocam.
No.
And before starting it, I would like to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation to Teacher Talks and being with us tonight with Teacher Talks 233rd session. It's a great honor to have you here tonight, Feride Hocam.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, Hocam, to welcome me and to invite me. Thanks for your invitation. I'm grateful to be with you tonight to
It's
share.
wonderful. It's wonderful to hear it. Thank you. I know, I'm sure, like all other educators, you are also very busy and you have a lot of things to do. So I don't want to take more time from you. And if you're ready, can we start?
Yeah, sure. I'm
Sure.
ready.
Okay. So I know about you, Feride Hocam, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you. So can you tell us about a little bit and a bit about your experiences too?
Yeah, thank you, Hocam. My name is Feride Acar. Maybe there are some colleagues and some friends that will be watching us. So if I introduce myself, I am 40 years old. I have just been 40, and I've been teaching for
Congrats.
15 years. Yes. And I live in Denizli, and I've been teaching in Denizli Bilim Sanat Merkezi, Science and Art Center for 8 years. And I graduated from Mersin University, and then completed my MA research in Pamukkale University 3 years ago. Because we live here, then I could start to, have some master, education in Pamukkale University. And for 1.5 years, let's say, I've been doing also my PhD degree again in Pamukkale University in ELT department, in English teaching department. So I'm happy that I can have the chance of, studying in my own field still. After 10 years of, being a teacher in MEP schools, because I started to teach, as I said, 15 years ago. I went on, teaching in MEP schools, in high schools and in secondary school for 10 years. And then I could have the chance of starting my post, let's say, graduate studies at Pamukkale University. So I could have the chance of being both a teacher and researcher after an experience of 10 years, as I said. And now, currently, I've been teaching gifted students in BSAM, and I know that you had many again teachers from BSAM, so you know about us. In fact, in general, I have seen that you also had hosted them in the previous sessions. So I think you have
Yes,
some
I
idea
do.
about BSAM teachers. But shortly, we teach gifted students in BSAM. So in some, let's say, dimension, we are lucky teachers, let's say. And we have been, carrying out some projects, scientific projects with them. So I'm happy to be with them, to teach them. Shortly, this is my, let's say, summary,
I
shortly.
see. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Feride Hocam. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
let's move to another question, which is it's about your background again. So what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
In my education life, in fact, I may not find any specific things, but maybe in my teaching career, I have some
Yeah.
turning points. If it is possible,
Sure.
I can
Of
mention them.
course. Mhm.
I think the first one was in my MA thesis. I could have the chance of, encountering a philosophy for children approach. I can consider this one as a turning point in my teaching career, because when I met this, let's say, approach, then it really created some changes on my teaching philosophy. After that, I tried to be a different teacher from what what I was in the previous years. After I met this
I see.
philosophy, maybe
Mhm.
we will be talking about that if you have time. It changed my teaching philosophy, as I said, and my style in the classroom as well. It might be maybe one of them, and also one of them was again when I started to work in BSAM, because it again created a different context for me to teach with different students, to
Uh-huh.
do different activities, to carry out different projects with them. Because in let's say regular classrooms, in regular schools, I mean, we don't do this kind of activities. We only teach, we carry out some assessment and evaluation procedures, and we have some exams. But in BSAM, it's really different to be a teacher in working in this kind of centers. So it might be another turning point in my career. As I said,
I
there
see.
have been many changes in my teaching life from
Mhm.
let's say from that year. 8 years ago, it started to change. Yes,
See,
shortly.
that's a great change for you for
Yeah.
starting working in BLSM. I'm sure that you gain lots of things there. I see. Okay, thank you very much, Feride Hocam. Okay, so you've been teaching for, you just mentioned that 15 years or
Yeah.
16 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that during this time you have tried different techniques, methodologies, and strategies
Mm.
in your career, of course. And I'm sure that you have a philosophy of teaching. So what is it? What is your philosophy of teaching?
Okay. In fact, as I said, after I met philosophy for children approach, it's an approach as well, but it comes from Socratic method. I started to be more silent in the classroom, because normally I like talking too much as teachers. But
Yes,
now
we all do.
I try to be more silent in the classroom and provide the opportunity for my students to discover, to think deeper, and I try to provide some provoking questions for them. For example, when we have some discussions, or when we have some let's say analyzing a text, for example, I try to make them to think deeper on the issues, and I try to make them, as I said, to discover their potential.
Hmm.
So maybe I started to be not a traditional teacher, to transfer the knowledge, transfer the information, but I try to be, I think, more like a facilitator, let's say.
Uh-huh.
So, to guide them to, as I said, to find the answer, to maybe to improve their higher thinking level skills. This is what I try to do as a, general approach. But of course, I usually benefit from games when we have, young children, young students. Of course, they are
Hmm.
very beneficial for us. I generally start with some warm-ups and try to finish my classes with some, again, kind of physical maybe games, and also
Games.
digital, of course. We use them a lot. So in this way, it becomes more meaningful, fun, and enjoyable for them. And I try to, I think, use these kind of games and activities to make the teaching process more, enjoyable and engaging for them.
I see.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your philosophy with us, Feride Hocam. Okay, as an educator in our career, we all have different stories, and actually, we have lots of stories. And some stories we have, some bad stories we have, some good stories we have, of course, some failed ones we have, and of course, also we have some success stories. And we would like to hear from you about success stories of yours, if you like to tell us. But we want to hear something inspirational if you have one or two
Mhm.
stories.
Yeah. Maybe first I can mention about some academic achievements of my students. I mean, what we did together. Then maybe there are some other, of course, achievements for us. As I said, we have been carrying out some scientific projects with our students, and we generally apply to some contests, project contests, or some other things. And also, in short, I try to make some, let's say, I try to create some meaningful output for them. For example, they are doing a project, but sometimes BSAM students, even BSAM students, may not be, eager and motivated to do some activities to fulfill all the tasks. It's not easy for them because they also go to school and they have many exams and some other tasks. To increase their motivation, I generally provide some, as I said, concrete outputs. For example, if their project is suitable for some congresses or conferences, we try to apply to have some proceedings for them. And for their age, for their level, I mean for high school students, we do projects with high school students after 9th grade until 12th grade. So it becomes meaningful. It becomes meaningful for them because they see that they could present it in a conference or congress, or sometimes we publish some book chapters. We also have some book chapters with my students. I think it's a very good accomplishment for them because when we think our situation, we could do this kind of gains, when we were at the university in MA classes, but in high school, they have this chance. And I think this is really important for them. Sometimes they may not realize its importance, but after they graduate, after they maybe become university students, I think they will realize its importance. And I feel that they will be much more, grateful for us as well. And also we apply to some, as I said, contests, for example, TÜBİTAK or, Erasmus or this kind of projects. We have some, let's say, gains from these contests. And also, as an achievement, I think I should also mention about my students' progress. For example, most of them have, speaking anxiety, generally speaking anxiety in the classrooms. This is what we usually encounter in our classes. And when I could create a chance maybe in their self-confidence, and if they try to become more, eager to talk, to express their feelings and, opinions, and they start to talk, in English in a, more confident way, it's a really achievement for us, for teachers. And I should mention these kind of students that I could, improve their self-confidence to express themselves and also their English proficiency. And I should mention about these students as maybe, let's say, some success as a success story for me.
I see. Thank you for sharing them. They're wonderful to listen, by the way. So thank you for sharing with us here, Feride Hocam. Okay, and you just mentioned many times gifted students, and sometimes people understand it in a different way, or teachers. So my question is, what do you mean by gifted students? What are the difference between or among the other students?
Normally, for the, let's say, what book says, let's say, what definition says, they are more, let's say, they are more talented and skillful students when we compare them their peers. But this is not only fixed to the IQ scores. It's not, in fact, only related about it. But in our system, we have an identification process, as you know, to be student in a BSAM. First, they should be, they should be successful in the first exam, and then after that, they are required to again, pass the IQ test, let's say, shortly. But in fact, giftedness, I think, may not, let's say, shouldn't be fixed to only IQ score. There are also some other skills and talents that we should consider. For example, some social skills, emotional skills, some other talents also, they're really important for gifted students. But in our system, we only assess their performance based on, you know, IQ score now. But they are really different students, shortly. Sometimes you can observe these kind of students in your classes, and also some have also some behavioral problems as well. For example, in our classes, when we have some let's say hard students to cope with, to overcome, you know, in terms of classroom management,
Yes.
some are also gifted. We may not know that. And before I started working in BSAM, I didn't know also maybe they were gifted or not. So some are really good and, you know, talented students, but some also have some personality or, you know, social problems as well. But in terms of academic skills, they are really good students. They have, you know, a good potential. And our role is to, you know, make them to find their potential, to discover their strengths also. So they have an identification process, as I said, to be a student in BSAM in our country, but in other countries, they don't have this kind of systems. They generally, you know, mix classes with, let's say, regular classes, normal students, let's say. But in our country, we have BSAM as another institution, shortly.
I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I was going to ask you another question about this gifted students, but you have already given this some answers about the next question, so I'm not going to ask you again about the things that you do.
I said I like talking with them.
That's okay. All right. So, Feride Hocam, you know that I have talked lots of educators so far from different countries, and when we talk with them, we also talk about their educational system in their countries. Some of them they like it, some of them they don't, some of them some ideas about the system that they have in their country, and some think that their system are perfect, but some think that, you know, their system is good, but still they need some, you know, the improvements. But when you think about our system that we live in Turkey, and everybody says something about the education system every year and every time, and even if they do some good things, still it's not enough for the people, you know, for the people that they have ideas for the system. So my question is about the education system again in Turkey. So if you had a chance to change one thing in Turkish education system, what would you change and why?
Oh,
It's
good
very,
question.
I know, it's very critical question, I know. But you have the micro jump, it's not a problem.
Okay, we need more time, Hocam, to discuss that point.
Okay.
But okay, I think I would change something about the exam-oriented system. There is a very high pressure on the students, and it really, you know, reduces their potential of, you know, creating critical thinking skills, some other, you know, 21st century skills. They may not, you know, have the enough chances to improve their skills, because we have an exam-oriented system. They always study for the exams, and they do not have the other, you know, alternatives to improve their skills. This would be the first step for me to change, because I would create more chances for them to gain some practical skills, okay, to make them get ready for real life, and
I
to have
see.
some professions, to have some professions at the critical age, at the critical maybe term for them, not maybe a later stage, because it really creates you know, problems for them to get ready for these exams. I think this would be the first one. And I think in terms of language classes, in terms of our field, I would try to provide more, you know, opportunities for them to be exposed to more authentic language, because in our
I
classes
see.
it's not a real life environment, so they do not feel the need to produce. So we should create some opportunities for them to feel the need to produce, and also
I see.
yeah, in real life situations. So in this way, we generally try to do some Erasmus projects and some other international collaborations, because when I see my students to communicate with these people from other cultures, from other countries, they really feel the need for themselves to learn, to speak, to produce. So in this way, it's really more meaningful for them, and they really would like to use the language in this way. Otherwise, it's not so meaningful in the classroom, and they feel that we only study for the exam, and also they don't need to, as I said, produce, and they have the speaking anxiety, and they don't have the enough time to produce their skills as well, except from studying for the exams. I think I would try to create this kind of opportunities for them, to involve them in real learning environments by communicating with other people, to use language as a tool to overcome their problems in real life. Shortly again.
I see. I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hocam. So, especially, I think people, let's say, not only educators, the people, they all have, when before starting a new year, we all, set, I think, some goals. I think actually we should. Okay, what I'm gonna do this year? What are my goals, and what I'm gonna do it? What I will achieve, or what are my plans for the new year or for the following years? So when you think about your goals and plans, what is your biggest goal for this year?
We always talk about projects, so BISA, because as you know, we implement a project-based system. Let's say we don't have a fixed curriculum, established curriculum, so we try to have more and more projects. Our aim for high school students is to equip them with the skill of, carrying out a scientific project. I would like that my students should have this skill. They should experience having a scientific project before they graduate from high school and before they graduate from BSM. This is my first aim. So at the first, let's say at the first term, we generally develop our research questions, research projects. What can we do? We group the students. We, review the literature. What can we do more? And after we find out their research questions, what they will be doing during the term, then we try to apply to some maybe contests, conferences, or some, as I said, project contests like TÜBİTAK, based on their performance and also based on their project quality. So at the first term, we start with some goals, and then we try to make these, let's say, opportunities more meaningful them, and to have some output, to have some achievements for them during the second term. So my goal is always having more and more projects, and also make my students experience a scientific projects before they graduate from BSM shortly.
I see. That's a great goals for the students and for you, of course, having the project with them, and different projects with different students, and of course having them the gain something or win at the end of that project. I'm sure that they also see about it.
Many opportunities for them. It's really beneficial for them, but sometimes they may not realize that. But after, as I said, we, for example, have some gains, they say, Hocam, you are right. This is really a good process for us. We have learned many things. We have improved our skills. They really admit it. Then I feel very happy at the end. At first, they may not realize that.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. And Feride Hocam, you know that in our daily life, especially when we send text messages or emails, or I don't know, some other, we make comments under some, the photograph or something like that, we use emojis, and it's very popular. You know that. And it's everywhere. It's in our phones or mobiles, or I don't know, some laptops or computers or TV, see them everywhere. So when you think about yourself as a teacher, if you were an emoji as a teacher, let's say today, which one would you be and why?
Nice question again. Thank you. I think I would be a star for them. This doesn't symbolize me, but it would symbolize my students, because I always, as I said, except from instructing, except from teaching, I also think that we should create some impact in their lives. Because I
Exactly.
remember my model teachers during my education, they really affected me to be an English teacher. Maybe we will be talking about that also. So I try to create some, as I said, impact in their lives, to be a good model. So I would choose the, star, a shining star, and because I try to help my students. This is my aim, to find their strengths, to realize their potential, and let's say to shine in their own way.
Oh
That
my,
would be my
wonderful.
aim.
That's why you're with the stars. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. It suits you, I think. Right. Thank you. Thank you very
Oh,
much. When you think about your classroom, Hocam, lots of moments happening. So some moments that make us sad, and some moments makes us really angry, or some moments makes us sad, and some moments, of course, makes us smile. When you think about the moments that you have in your classrooms, what moment always makes you smile?
I think it's generally happens when we have some discussions. As I mentioned, in P4C, philosophy for children approach, you generally have some discussions like Socratic, let's say, debates, and you try to make your students think deeply on concepts, on some issues, and to create a connection between these concepts and their daily lives to make more meaning, to make them more meaningful for them. And during these discussions, they generally guide them with some useful questions, with some provoking, let's say, philosophical questions. And when we do this, they start to talk. Even some students who are not eager to express their feelings, it generally takes their attention, and they start to, let's say, express their opinions as well with other friends. So when
I
I see
see.
that they have this discussion, especially in English speaking classes, because we would like to see them to, as we said, produce, to speak and also write. These are some difficult skills, as you know, because it requires production, and they generally have problems with these skills. And when they start to talk, and they have the flow of discussion, let's say, on their own, I feel really happy. I don't, interrupt with them. I wait for them. I try to see their performance, I try to discover what they are talking about. And when they discuss in a very fair and, let's say, in a very peaceful way, it makes me really happy, let's say, shortly, based on my experiences. Because I said I generally have this kind of sessions in my classes, because in BSAM we don't have a fixed class, a fixed curriculum, so we can have this kind of discussion-based activity. So
Mhm.
it makes me really happy to see them in this way. Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your ideas with us, Feride Hocam. Okay, so you know that you just mentioned that teachers love talking, and we love talking. We say lots of things in the classrooms. If they let us, we can talk all day long, I think, especially in the classroom. So, and also, when you think about your lessons, or when you think about your teaching time, all right, so I'm sure that you maybe sometimes you don't realize, but you say some common sentences in your lessons. You repeat yourself, repeat again and again, and use that sentences many times. When you think about this, what is the most common sentence you say in class?
Thanks to God, we don't say often, be quiet. This is our one of our, advantages, because we are, as I said, in BSAM, we generally have maximum 10 students in a group, and we don't have this kind of classroom management, thanks to God. So we are lucky for that. I generally try to, again, I think, to make them think deeper, and to consider other options, or consider some other dimensions, let's say, perspectives. I generally say think deeper, or think in other ways, or express in some other ways. Do you agree? Why?
Uh-huh.
Because it's because of P4C, as I said, it creates some effects on me. Why do you think so? Can you please explain more? Can you please explain that? Do you agree with your friends or not? Or if you don't agree, why? Can you please explain? This kind of things, I generally use them in my
I
speaking
see.
class. I
I
teach them.
got it. Thank you. Thank you very much for your sharing your sentences, common sentence with us. Thank you, Hocam. Okay,
You're right.
sometimes and before going to the lesson, we make a plan and we think that, okay, this is my plan. I hope it's going to be suits my students and it will work in the classroom. You go to the classroom and you have your lesson, and then that lesson, let's say, well, very wonderful. Everything was great in the lesson, and you think that time, of course. And have you ever, finished a kind of a lesson, and after the lesson thought that, wow, that went better than planned? What happened?
Sometimes I am not prepared for the classes, to
Ah,
confess, as usual, as we have. Sometimes I may not, because of time problem and because of some busy schedule. I may not be ready for the class. And I, of course, use my archive. I use my previous, of course, plans and some other things. But I think it is due to we work in a BSAM with gifted students. Maybe in regular classes I couldn't do that, but when I start some activity, my students have some let's say suggestions for the class, and when I'm not ready, so I am open to new ideas and yeah, to suggestions. So then they provide some suggestions for us, and if it's okay for me, if it is suitable for their level and for the class objectives, I do it, and it really works. And I see that, oh, they provided me some good ideas and it really worked, and maybe I use them in my other classes, even if let's say I'm not planned, or I didn't prepare some things to use in the class. With their suggestions and with their good ideas, it became really let's say good sessions, good lessons for us. Sometimes it happens.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing it with us, Hocam. Okay,
Mhm.
when you think about the technology, of course, it's everywhere and we use it. And we cannot escape from technology, and especially in education, lots of technological, the improvements happening every day, maybe every, I don't know, every day, every hour. Even if now we are chatting here, something happening in, the education life according to technology. So when you think about all the the improvements in education, what change in education excites you the most right now?
I think the answer is common for all of us. Of course, AI, using
AI.
AI. Yes, it's really good, and it excites me. But during the last days, I feel a little bit worried, in fact, because I am not sure whether we can use it in a ethical way or not. This is a big problem for us, and also for our students. And I think, of course, we need some training of how to integrate AI technology in our classes, how to use it in a very effective way. That's okay, but I think another problem is using it in an ethical way, because I feel like in a mess. When I search something, or when I watch something, even when I watch, I'm not sure whether it is AI product or not. So nowadays
You are right. You are right.
it's a really challenge for us, for teachers as well, because when we assign our students with some task, with some homework, how can we be sure for that? How can we assess? And the tools also, AI detector tools also, all of them are not reliable. They always provide some different results. So how could we be sure that they are human produced or AI produced? So this
AI
is,
project.
yeah, this is a very big problem for me nowadays, and I try to focus on this kind of issues. But of course, AI, a good technology, if we use it effectively,
In
and also we
technology.
can teach our students how to use it in an ethical and also effective way, it
Okay.
would be, of course, my answer.
Good one. I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hocam. Okay, and you know, when you think about all your careers and you have lots of students so far, and you have taught them in BSAM or in other schools, of course, and right now still you have the lots of students. They come, you teach, and they go. and maybe you graduate them. And when you think about your students after they graduate or after they move to another grades, and what do you hope them to remember about you years later?
When I mentioned my good role models, I think I would imagine myself to be their good role models. I hope if we could. In future, for example, if they talk about me, Feride teacher did this and she was very inspiring for us. She did this for us and it was very, motivating, inspiring for us. I would be very grateful because, as I said, except from teaching, I try to create some meaningful outcomes for their life to create some contributions to their personal, professional, maybe also some practical skills, let's say. So I try to create an impact in their life. In fact, not a regular or routine teacher, but a good model for them. And I hope that they will be remembering me in future.
Of course,
Yes.
I'm sure they will remember. So I'm sure,
I
John.
Thank you.
Don't worry about it. Oh, okay, thank you very much. Feride Hocam, I think, and most of especially the language teachers, before becoming a language teachers, they had different jobs in their mind, and they wanted to do different things. Or before, before starting their career as a language teacher. So when you think about yourself, okay, in this part, if you weren't working in education, what completely different job would you try?
I am really interested in psychology of humans, so I think I would do something about maybe work as a psychology counselor. I think I would do that. It really takes my attention, and I'm interested in people's, emotions,
I
behaviors,
see.
underlying reasons of their behaviors. And I'm a social person. In fact, I have a generally good relationship with people. I like sharing, asking, and being with people. I think I would be a psychological, counselor.
I
In my
see.
opinion, yeah, I think so.
That's a different job. I heard right now. I heard different jobs, but this is the most different one, I
In,
think.
in the in the 2000, what is the session number? I don't know. You didn't hear about this?
No one mentioned about psychological counselor. They had all different about trading things or doctor or I don't know some international relations stuff, but not a psychological counselor.
Yeah,
But
I'm a
that's great.
person of being teacher. This is my job. I'm very happy to be a teacher, but it always took my attention. I always find myself thinking what how would be, to be a counselor, a psychological person. So it was one of the
I see.
options. Mhm.
I see. It's great. Thank you for sharing with us here. Okay, so in every successful people, they they have uh, role models. Okay, they follow some other successful people as a role model for themselves because they know that if they follow other good examples, they will be successful like them because they have a great example in front of them, or they have some people who inspired them about their job. When you think about this, do you have any role models? If you say yes, who is or are or anyone inspired you in your career or in your life?
Yeah, I have. I'm lucky that I have, and they really, yeah, affected me, as I said, to be an English teacher. In I think secondary school, I forgot her name. I'm sorry for that. I'm not a person that remember all people.
Middle name.
I'm bad at really remembering names. I'm sorry for that. But it was many, many years ago. So she was a really good model for me as an English teacher. She was a modest person, a good language, a good pronunciation. I always admired her, and she really, as I said, affected me. And also in high school, we had a very crazy woman. She also was an English teacher. And I remember that she shaved her hair. Do you know? Yeah, she was a woman and she shaved her hair, and but she was a very beautiful woman. but it was a really, interesting type of person for us. But her English again was very good, and her style, her teaching style, her behavior towards us, was really different from other teachers. So she was really different. So I also remember her today. Even reading classes, the name of the reading text, I remember. Yeah, we studied with her in her class. So she was really a good model for me.
Wow.
She was crazy. I'm not such crazy like her, but I remember her still today. And also in Pamukkale University, I would like to mention my professor's name. You also had a session with him, Turan Paker.
Turan
Yeah,
Hocam. Yeah,
tell me.
he was a great
I
one.
really like him. I send my, greetings and loves to all the teachers in Pamukkale University in ELT department as a student there. His style is also really inspiring for me because I was only, I was generally focusing on the content of my course and try to provide many, information as much as I can during the classes. This is what I did generally before, but after maybe, of course, before him also, I discovered that after I gained some experience in teaching, but Turan Hoca also, acted as a good model for me because he's
Model.
really tolerant.
He is.
He's a very tolerant person towards, his students' mistakes, problems, and he's a really helpful and supportive person. I always feel relaxed and also, let's say, secure if I have a problem to share with him. I didn't, feel bothered to share with him. She's a really, as I said, tolerant and let's say motivating person for me, and he also a good model for me as an English
Mhm.
teacher. Because we
Wonderful.
shouldn't always focus on the, only language and teaching. We should also try to create a good relationship with our students, because this is the
Uh-huh.
first step. If we can do it, if we, establish a good rapport with our students, a good relationship, then after they trust you, they will do their best to learn. So it will come, automatically. I think I have learned this during the last years as a teacher. I
I
mean,
see.
considering their affective qualities, their emotions, this is more important for me today.
For you today. I see. Thank you very much for sharing that. The great, inspired person. I mean, like they inspire you. That's wonderful, especially. And Turan Hocam, I'm sure that he's one of the, the greatest one in the LT world, and especially in Pamukkale University. I know him. He's a great one. You are lucky, Hocam. You are really lucky. Okay, thank you very much. In our life, we face lots of, the challenging moments, and sometimes we can handle some of them, but sometimes we cannot. We try our best, but we cannot do it. We can't solve. And after that, we think thousands of, the things to solve it, but we cannot. And then we say on our own, and oh, I wish I could have a kind of superpower, so I could easily fix it, right? But when you think about this into your classroom, especially the superpower part, if you could have one superpower to use it in the classroom, what would it be and how would it help you?
In teaching, as a teacher, you mean?
Yeah, as a teacher.
Oh,
But if you
okay.
want to say for your life, you can also mention it.
For life, there are many things to talk, so it doesn't end. We need more time. So let's focus on our
Okay, let's focus on the classroom.
Okay, yes. I think I would again try to increase their self confidence. I use my superpower for that, because if we could, do something to make them, engage in our classes, to make them to take their attention, to do something for, effective filter, then it will automatically also create a positive effect on their learning process. They will be motivated to learn. I think, do something to reduce their anxiety, I think, for my students. But there are, in terms of, some more concrete things, there are many things to do. I would equip my classes, with many technological devices, some different kinds of corners, books, activities, digital tools. Of course, this is our dream for all the teachers.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your superpower with us, Feride Hocam. Okay. So, Feride Hocam, think that we finish our live sessions and you go outside and find a lottery tickets, right? That ending up winning $100 million, which is a huge amount of money. What would you do? But please be honest, okay? Tell us the truth.
Hocam, this is a question I didn't get ready for that. I didn't know that you will ask it to me. It's a really challenging question, but I would spend it for my students as a teacher. Let's see like that. I don't know. Maybe, but I'm an Aquarius person, as an sun sign. So I really
Okay.
care for humanity. I really care for all the humans. So of course, I would help some people in need. This is real for me. This is very honestly, to say honestly, I would help them. And in terms of education, I would maybe settle some schools, some good schools for students who have not the chance of having education in rural areas. It would be
I
like
see.
that. Uh-huh.
You use all of them. Okay. Not for yourself, little bit. Maybe
Yeah,
travel around the
for me,
world
of
and
course,
see
for
the
me,
things.
for myself, let's come.
I
Maybe
see.
I think I
Okay.
would use it to travel all the world. I tried to see some countries, but I really like to discover some other cultures and countries. I am a person of that, so I would use some part of the money to travel around the world. Yes,
Sure.
that
Great.
would
Great to hear it. Great to hear it. Okay. Thank you very
be.
much,
You're
Ferit
welcome.
Hoca. Okay. Now you know that the time flies. Now I'm gonna ask you my last question and the
Oh,
hardest one.
oh, I need
Ready
more
for
time.
it?
I feel that, Hojam, it has been a very short time, but it has been very long
Yeah,
time that we.
almost an hour.
I know,
Okay.
really, with
Ready
you.
for the last one?
Yeah.
Sure. I think you're ready. Okay. What is your motto?
Hmm. So my motto should be something that should reflect what I talk this session during this session. As a summary, let's say, as a short summary, my motto would be for teachers again, don't just teach, but create an impact. Is it
That's
okay?
good. Perfect.
I
Can
think
you repeat it
it
again?
should be my motto, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just teach, but create an impact. As I said,
Wonderful.
in our student lives, we should do something different, not only teaching, but to be a good model, as I said, we should do something to create some impact in their
Mhm.
lives, I think.
In their life. I see. Thank you. Thank you very much,
Mhm.
Ferit Hocam. Okay,
You're welcome.
now I completed all my questions for the first part. Now we're gonna move the second part of our session, which is a quick fire questions. Okay, this is something. Okay, we have just started this part. After asking my questions, we have a quick fire questions. I'm gonna give you two options, and you choose one of it without thinking a
Great.
lot. All right. So
Okay.
ready for it?
Yes,
Okay. So let's get started. Online teaching or face to face?
face to face, sure.
Okay. Pair work or group work?
Paper,
Good. Morning classes or afternoon classes?
afternoon classes, be some teachers. I'm happy with that.
Okay. Good. And silence or productive noise?
Productive noise. It
Good.
is indispensable for us, for language
All right.
teachers.
Wonderful. Okay. Teacher talk or student talk?
Student talk,
Wonderful. Routine or variety?
variety,
Wonderful. And projects or tests?
projects,
Stickers or verbal phrases?
verbal phrases,
Motivation or discipline?
motivation,
Control or trust?
trust,
Okay. And red pen or green pen?
green pen,
Okay, green pen. All right. And staff room, classroom,
classroom.
and the last one. One more minute or time is up.
one more minute, if I have.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
all my questions, hocam. Thank you very much.
Perfect, John.
I have asked all my questions to you, Feride hocam, and thank you very much for your wonderful answers. And before ending our live sessions, would you like to add anything else? Do you have any advice or suggestions to our audiences?
Thank you, Hojam. I really appreciate your effort that you sustained so long, for this session. Yeah, it has been a very long time. It's really, I really appreciate your effort for that. It's a very good idea to meet some colleagues and to share our ideas to be some inspiring for other teachers. To hear also from their lives. It's a very good opportunity for us. I really thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure for me to meet you as well. You had really good questions, and I hope I could explain myself in a good way. That's all, I guess,
That's
for
all.
me.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Feride hocam. And I would like to say again one more time, thank you very much for your suggestions, ideas, advice, and especially, and which is a very precious one, your time. You spent your time here with us. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
And
Thank you.
Feride Acar was with us here tonight, and with Teacher Talks 233rd session, and we had a fruitful session with her. And as you know that we are going to be here next week at the same time on the same day every Monday at 9 p.m. for Turkey's time. And until the next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And please take care of yourself and take care of yourself, Feride hocam. And until the next time, bye bye everybody
Thank you,
and peace.
Hocam. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Bye.